Welcome to how to craft a green steel item and how to use the green steel crafting planner. Now, this video is going to be designed for people that are newer to the game, or maybe you've been playing the game a while and you just avoided green steel or whatever. If you're in either one of those categories, green steel is awesome gear. It's some of the best TR gear in the game. And I highly recommend that you learn how to craft it. And you're going to love it if you like the TR, because putting on your green steel at level 11 and 12 is one of the most gratifying things during the TR process. Now, Valeria here, you'll need to talk to her, and she will not talk to you until you have at least 40 House 12 favor. And that's easily done by completing the 5 Veil quests on normal even. That will give you your 40 favor. And once you do that, she'll put you on a little crafting tutorial. She'll give you some junk. You take it downstairs here, and you make an orb out of it. You show her the orb, then she says, now take your Signet Stones that you got from the Veil quest and combine them, or the Stones of Victory and Stone of Might and all those, and combine them to make a Signet Stone. So you just pull your little pieces of pie over here, and that's the only thing that they're used for, is to make this Signet Stone. And you do have a guaranteed chance to get one of these out of normal or higher difficulty. I think on casual there's only like a 50 or 75% chance that you'll get one from each quest. So you just click on the recipe. I'm missing one of the pieces of pie, but I already have some Signet Stones made up. You need one of these Signet Stones every time you want to make a green steel base item or green steel blank. So once you have made your Signet Stone, you take it back outside, you talk to Valeria. You have to take it out of your bag though. If it's in your bag, she will not acknowledge that you have it. So you take it out of your bag, show her, and she says now you can use the Altar of Fecundity at will. And this guy over here sells Ebron energy cells. I'm going to need 4 or 5 of these, so I'm just going to get them now. It's the only thing he sells, and you need those to make your base item. So I'm going to make a cloak for Sporty Spice, and I'm starting here on Ginger Spice because I didn't have any extra Signet Stones on Sporty. But you can actually make the blank or the base item on any tune, and it's not bound. It's not even bound to account, so you could make a base item and sell it, or sometimes you can find them on the auction house. It becomes bound once you equip it, or you craft tier 1 onto it. So I'm going to make a green steel cloak. I've got the planner already loaded up here, and I'm going to highlight that it's perfectweb.org/DDO, but I'm going to make that address bigger in the video. So you select the item here from the top, all kinds of different weapons. We're going to do cloak. And down here it shows you exactly what ingredients you need. And for your base items, in addition to all 5 of those stones which you used to make your Signet Stone, you're going to need the ingredients that come out of the Veil quests, like your Bitter Scrub Fungus, your Chipmunk Funk, Glistening Pebbles, your Green Briar Twigs, Lily Petals, and your Locust Husks. The Lily Petals and the Locust Husks can actually come from rare chests out in the Slayer area, but the rest of them will only come from the quests. They're not bound, so you can find them on the auction house or get them from a friend. So here shows what you need to make that base item, in this case a cloak, and it shows you in what combination to add them into the crafting device to make these other ingredients that you'll then combine to make the base item. So it shows you here you need a Locust Husk, a Glistening Pebble, a Lily Petal, a Green Briar Twig, and an Energy Orb in order to make a Filament of Toil. Down here you need Glistening Pebble, Fungus, Petal, Green Briar Twig, and an Energy Orb to make a Green Taper. We've already made the Signet Stone, and then we'll need a Locust Husk, Chipmunk Funk, Bitter Scrub Fungus, Lily Petals, and an Energy Orb to make a Wondrous Oil. And then we'll combine the Filaments of Toil, the Green Taper, the Signet Stone, and the Wondrous Oil together, and that will make our cloak. So let's do that now. So we need a Husk, Pebble, Lily Petals, Green Briar Twig, and Energy Orb. I'm not going to remember that. husk and a pebble, petal, twig, and orb. And you can put your whole stacks of ingredients in there. It will only use what it needs, so don't think you're going to lose them or something. So you put those ingredients in there, the filaments of toil, and we'll just verify just to make sure that's what we want, filaments of toil. It's the only thing that comes up with that combination. Click on that, hit mix magically, and there's our filaments of toil. Okay, we needed some other ingredients too. We need a green taper. So pebbles, fungus, petal, twig. Hey, I remembered them all this time. Green taper, let's just double check. Green taper, that's what we want. Click that, mix magically. There's our green taper. Clear. And the next thing we want, we got the Signet Stone already, and now we need the Wondrous Oil. We need a husk, a fungus, and a petal. Wondrous Oil. Let's just double check that that's what we needed. Yep. Mix magically, and there's our Wondrous Oil. There's a bunch of other stuff too. There's different colored tapers, there's Wondrous Balm, there's scarabs, all kinds of silly things. It's not really important, just follow the instructions that's given and you'll be just fine. So now we're going to take those ingredients, because it says to make a green steel weave cloak, we put our energy orb, our filaments of toil, green taper, Signet Stone, and our Wondrous Oil, and it should give us what we want. And there's our green steel weave cloak. Mix magically. Boom! I got a cloak. You can see it is not bound. It says binds to character on equip. So don't accidentally equip it if you're going to move it around or sell it or give it to a friend. And now I'm going to switch that over to Sporty Spice. Alright, so I got my cloak out of the shared bank that I just crafted on Ginger Spice. And I'm actually on my ship. If you may have altars on your ship, or if you have a friend that has a high level ship, they may have them on there. So, or just ask somebody to use their ship if you want convenient access to shroud crafting devices. There's the altar of fecundity that was in Meridia. We don't need to use that because that's only used to make base items. And here's the altar of invasion. This is also located at the end of part 1 in the shroud. You can craft there too. This is tier 1. Altar of subjugation is for tier 2. And this is at the end of part 3 in the shroud as well. It's also in the double battlefield slayer area. Just a quick run from the start. I mean, straight ahead basically. If you ever need to use a tier 2 device and you don't have any other convenient way to find one. And then here the altar of devastation is to craft tier 3. And this is also located at the end of shroud in part 5. Now, if you're newer to shroud, you may not be aware that at the end of shroud you can actually go back to those earlier stages and use the crafting devices. You know, you're done, everybody recalls out, you can stay there and hold the instance and craft as long as you like if you don't have access to altars on somebody's ship. So, we're going to do tier 1 first. So that's altar of invasion. And let's go back to our crafting planner. So, just going to show you an example of like crafting a weapon, then we'll come back to the cloak. So let's just pick a heavy pick. Pick a pick. And again, it shows you exactly what you need for the base item, some base ingredients. And then in order to, well, in picking the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 effects, a lot of people like to work backwards. They know what they want their tier 3 bonus effect to be like a lightning 2, which people call a lit 2, or a concordant opposition item, or a mineral 2 item. And to get those tier 3 bonus effects, you can pull down this bonus effect menu here. Let's pick a lightning 2, aspect of lightning 2. And in order to craft up to a lightning 2, there are certain combinations that you have to do with tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And it's not precise combinations, but it's pretty tight. You don't have a lot of different options. Basically, if you want to craft a lit 2, you basically got to go electric, good, or some combination there. I'll show you what I mean. So we have our tier 3 bonus effect here, and so that's going to lock in the combinations, the previous combinations, to get there. So let's work backwards here. To get to that, it shows what our options are. Now, if this wasn't here, if I go back to undecided, you can see I have a whole bunch of different options for tier 3. But if I'm going to do lit 2, then I have limited options. So let's do like a good blast. Okay, and for the second shard, you will not. It says you will not receive the effect of this. You won't receive good blast, but you will receive a shock blast as the tier 3 bonus effect. And then for tier 2 and tier 1, you can pick like good burst for tier 2 and shock for tier 1, or for example, we could go holy for tier 1 and then shocking burst for tier 2. So those are some options that you have, and this will still lead us to that lit 2 weapon that we want. You can see I don't have any other options now that I have these previous options selected. And it shows you exactly what you need here. There's your base item ingredients that you need for for tier 1 here. It shows you what you need for tier 2 and tier 3. Now, to craft your tier 2 or tier 1, 2, and 3, you're going to need the ingredients from the Shroud Raid itself. And these are things like your Infernal Chain, your Gnawed Bone, your Twisted Shrapnel, your Glowing Arrowhead, your Double Scale, and your Sulphurous Stone. And each one of these come in a small, medium, and a large variety. Your smalls are what you use for tier 1, and your mediums you use for tier 2, and your larges are for tier 3, and your larges are your most valuable, followed by medium and small. Now, most people that play this game for a while are going to have gobs of this stuff, especially smalls and mediums. I mean, if you have a friend that's been playing a while, I mean, those are just giveaways. The larges are a little more valuable, but you should be able to find them on the auction house and stuff, or you could just farm Shroud for them. So that's just an example of how you can craft a weapon here. Or if you want to experiment around a little bit, you can just see what's available here for tier 1. And there are different things that are going to be available if you do an item versus a weapon. So you have some items down here. Let's pick a belt. So, for example, you can put, let's see here, for tier 2 and tier 3, you could put like actually stats on here. Oops. You can't put stats on items. You can put stats on weapons. Little mistake there. So let's just pick like +6 to strength here. And then you can do like exceptional strength. and those two specific options would only give us this tier 2 bonus effect option. In tier 3 we could do like Insightful Strength. Now for most people it's not going to make sense to put a stat on a weapon. Just showing you do have that option, and it may be valuable for casters. For example, who want to make a caster stick that gives them, some bonuses to stats, and you can get this weapon at, level 12 and have a +1 exceptional stat and then +2 insightful stat. That's pretty decent for level 12. Okay. Now back to our cloak. We already have the base item. So I'm going to make a Concordant Opposition Cloak. And it's a very popular caster item. And it's called Existential Stalemate to Concordant Opposition. You can only, it says non-weapon. You can actually make a Concordant Opposition weapon. But since I have the Cloak selected, that's why it says non-weapon here. They actually all say non-weapon just because I have Cloak selected and not a weapon. So with the bonus effect here has, on being hit, the chance to gain 30 temporary hit points or some temporary spell points. Or actually you get, I don't know if it's temporary spell points. I don't think that it's temporary spell points. I think it gives them to you outright. 4% chance on each. So that's some pretty cool tier 1, 2, and 3 effects too. So I'm choosing that to start with, and I'm going to craft backwards so that I know that I'm locked into that. So I'm going to choose 100 extra spell points and +6 to my charisma skills. I like that one because I'm going to be using it on Sporty Spice, and I like to tank with her, and charisma skills will give me bonuses to like Intimidate, UMD, etc. Now I got +100 bonus spell points, and that's actually going to be 200 bonus spell points for the favorite soul. Also, it would be 200 bonus spell points for like a sorcerer, but a wizard and druid would only get 100 extra spell points from that. You also have this tier 2 bonus effect here. You get +10 diplomacy, +10 haggle, and +6 wisdom, which is especially awesome for a wisdom-based caster, like a favorite soul, or a cleric, or a druid. Tier 2 bonus effect, I'm going to go for 50 extra spell points. And you can go intelligence skills or charisma skills. Now I'm going to choose charisma skills, and that won't stack with the +6. It's only going to be the higher of the two. And that is a change. If you've been playing this game for a while, you happen to be watching this video, if you're not aware, these used to just be +1, 2, and 3 for tier 1, 2, and 3. And they did stack back then, but they doubled it about a year or so ago and made it so it doesn't stack. And the reason why I picked this +50 spell points because I know that choosing the intelligence skills, which would be nice for like spellcraft, that's an intelligence-based skill. But I chose the charisma skills because I know that the tier 1 effect that I want is the blindness immunity. Now, if I was making this as a TR item, then I actually would probably go with the Wizardry 6 instead. Because I'd want a Wizardry item for, you get this at level 11. Wizardry 6 at level 11 is pretty decent. But this is actually going to be an endgame piece of gear for me. One of the things awesome about Green Steel, or I should say that Green Steel is so awesome that it's still relevant at endgame. It's not just TR. It's not just TR gear. A lot of people still like to use it at endgame, and I still, on my casters, I still use like a hit point item and a spell point item. This is the spell point item. But I already have a Concordant Opposition for TRing, and by the time I reach endgame, I have a 250 spell point augment, and that's not going to stack with Wizardry 6. So I want to go for the blindness immunity. But just want to show you that if I had picked the intelligence skills, that blindness immunity isn't there now. I have lesser regeneration as an option instead. There's some other things here too. You can pick some hit points or something. But I want to go for the blindness immunity. Just a preference. You can do whatever you like. Okay, so there's everything. Got the Green Steel Cloak, blindness immunity with resist disease +6, +50 spell points, +100 spell points, and that'll all give me the Existential Stalemate 2 Concordant Opposition. And here's everything that you need. Now, the altar of fecundity, we already made this. We did that in Meridia on Ginger Spice. Now I'm going to make tier 1. And it says, it gives me some things that I got to make that are a little bit different than before in order to combine them to make my tier 1 shard. And you're going to be crafting onto these shards that you get from the chests in the Shroud Raid. So you have to have these shards in order to make a green steel item. Now, I'm going to be making what is a double sharded tier 3 item. You can see I have 2 shards here. Not everything is going to have 2 shards, but some of your best items, like your Lit 2 weapon, for example, is also a double shard. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And there's a mistake that a lot of noobs make when they're making their first double sharded item. So I'm going to really emphasize what not to do and what you should do instead when we get to that point. So you'll need at least 1 shard of power, at least 1 great power, and at least 1 supreme power to make a fully crafted green steel item. And you'll need 2 shards of supreme power if you're going to be making a double sharded green steel item. Also want to show you that you're going to need these Shavrath energy cells. There's low, medium, and high energy cells, and guess what? That's for tier 1, 2, and 3. Now, when you find the mediums and highs, they are depleted. And the way that you charge them up... Oops, I do not want to be here at the Altar of Invasion. I want to be Subjugation now. The low energy cells, those are always charged up when you find them. And incidentally, you can buy these from the vendor inside of the Shroud at the end of Part 3. There's that skeleton guy right at the portal. He sells these. A lot of people that have even been playing this game a long time don't realize that you can buy them from him. So, you don't have to beg your friends for energy cells. You can just get them from that vendor. But the way you charge them up is that you're going to stick them in the crafting device, and so the mediums would be Altar of Subjugation, and the high energy cells would be Altar of Devastation. And you need to take a weapon, and you just want to pick a piece of trash loot, because it's going to get consumed. It's going to like draw the energy out of the weapon, crunch the weapon into the cell. So you just put your weapon there, and the weapon to charge up a medium energy cell has to be at least plus 6. See, if you look in the upper right hand corner, you see it says plus 6. I'm not talking about the plus 1 shrieking. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the upper right hand corner it says plus 6. That's like the potential or something. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to be, but higher level weapons have higher pluses there. It has to be at least plus 6 to recharge a medium cell. So you just put the depleted medium cell in there, your weapon with at least a plus 6 in the upper right hand corner, click forge, and it charges up your medium cell. And then at the Altar of Devastation is where you can charge up your high energy cells. And here you need a weapon that has at least a plus 8. But I do want to show you that it actually can't be higher than a plus 15. You can see this says plus 15 in the upper right hand corner. And that would allow me to do it. But just show you that if you go above 15, this says plus 19, no matches found. It's because when the system was created, plus 15 was the highest. So it just doesn't recognize anything higher than that. Hopefully they'll fix that when they make the stuff epic this year. So I'll take this plus 15, hit forge. Now I got a energized high energy cell. Go back to Altar of Invasion. So let's see what we need for tier 1. At the Altar of Invasion, I'll need a Cloudy Gem of Opposition, which I can make with a small bone, small chain, small devil scale, small stone, and a low energy cell. So bone, chain, scale, and stone. Bone, chain, scale, and stone. And I need the low energy cell. Cloudy Gem of Opposition is the only thing that comes up. Let's just double check that's what we need. Yep. Forge. There's our Cloudy Gem of Opposition. Excellent. Now we need a Diluted Material Essence. And here, for this, we need an arrowhead, a scale, shrapnel, and a stone. Diluted Material Essence. Let's just double check our work. Diluted Material Essence. Excellent. There's our Diluted Material Essence. And we'll also need an inferior focus of negative energy. Now I could just write inferior focus of negative. Oops, no matches found. Did I misspell something? Okay, so inferior focus of negative energy. I must have misspelled something. Okay, so I could just click that and it would pull my ingredients right over. So that's just another way that you could do it instead of click forge. And there's my inferior focus. So I got those three things now. It says I need to, in order to make that shard, I need to take that Cloudy Gem of Opposition, the Diluted Material Essence, inferior focus of negative energy, a shard of power, and a low energy cell. And combine those. Boom. 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 Once I get those three, that's the only recipe that comes up. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to pull the shard. So you gotta stick that in there manually. Click the recipe, forge. Now I have infused my shard of power with that stuff to make the tier 1 shard. And so now, I'm going to take that shard and my cloak. It's going to take another energy cell, hit forge, and now I have tier 1. There's the blindness immunity, proof against disease +6. On to tier 2, Altar of Subjugation. And we're going to do the same thing. At the Altar of Subjugation, in phase 3 of the Shroud, or on your ship, or in the Devil battlefield, we're going to need an Ethereal Essence. So click there, Ether, there's our Ethereal Essence. It's going to pull the ingredients right out of my bag, hit forge. Alright. And we're going to need a focus of positive energy. I'm just going to type in positive or posit. It should come right up. Focus of positive energy, forge. Boom. And then we're going to need a gem of escalation. Gem of escalation. Boom. Okay. Now we're going to take our Ethereal Essence, our focus of positive energy, our gem of escalation, shard of great power, and a medium energy cell. And that's going to infuse the shard with our tier 2 effect. So Ethereal Essence, focus of positive energy, gem of escalation. Here's my great shard. Boom. It is now infused. Put our cloak in there. Select the recipe. Hit forge. And now you can see I have it up to tier 2, and it's got those tier 2 bonus effects. The Wisdom 6, Diplomacy 10, Haggle 10, and the Elemental Spell Power, which is the +50 bonus spell points. Pretty awesome. Almost there. So now we're going to make 2 Supreme Shards. And I want to emphasize, we're going to put them both on, or we have to combine those 2 shards together before we put it on the cloak. We don't put it on the cloak one at a time. I'm going to show you what I mean. So the Altar of Devastation in Phase 5 of the Shroud or on your ship. We need a Flawless Gem of Escalation, Pure Ethereal Essence, and Superior Focus of Positive Energy. It tells you the individual ingredients, so like I showed you before, you can pull those one at a time over into the crafting device, or you can just type in Escalation. Now you can see that a lot of these are a lot of the same type named ingredients, like Flawless Gem of Escalation, or just a regular Gem of Escalation, or Inferior Focus. So at the Altar of Devastation here, for example, you're only going to get the flawless varieties. You can't craft an inferior focus here. That's what you do on the other. So if I put like inferior here, nothing comes up. I already forgot what we're supposed to do. Flawless Gem of Escalation. There it is. Boom. Pure Ethereal Essence. Ether. There's our Pure Ethereal Essence. Forge. And then we need Superior Focus of Positive Energy. POSIT. Oops. Clear that out. Superior Focus of Positive Energy. Boom. So we take our Superior Focus. Pure Ethereal Essence. Flawless Gem of Escalation. Select the recipe. Pull our Burrito Supreme into the little box. Oops. I need a high energy cell. Alright, I've charged up some more energy cells. So put our ingredients here. Click on the recipe. Pull our Supreme Shard over here. Boom, we have one of our shards. We do not want to put that on the cloak yet. If you were to put that on the cloak now, you will ruin it, and you will hate yourself. Don't let that happen to you. Actually, you wouldn't ruin it, you would just make a different item. You wouldn't get that tier 3 bonus effect you were looking for. And you would not be happy about that. We got to make our second shard now. We need a Flawless Gem of Escalation. And we need a Pure Ethereal Essence. And Superior Focus of Negative Energy. Neg. Boom. Okay. Now we're going to take our Superior Focus of Negative Energy, our Pure Ethereal Essence, and our Flawless Gem of Escalation. Put our second Supreme Shard in there. Click Craft. Excellent. So now we have 2 shards, and here's the key. Now you put both of those shards into the Altar of Devastation, and you're going to combine them into one super duper shard. Boom. Now you have one super duper shard. It just says Existential Stalemate. Don't panic. I know what you're thinking. It's supposed to be Existential Stalemate too. That's alright. It's just what it says. So now you're going to take that shard and the cloak, and then you need a high energy cell. But wait, there's 2 recipes here. Ginger spice. Which one do I pick? I don't want to mess up my first green steel item. I know you don't. Relax, it's okay. So here's another point where you can totally mess up. Don't let it happen to you. Make sure you carefully read what is there and that you pick the option that you're really, truly going for. So let's see here. This just says Charisma Skills, Exceptional Bonus 6, and Greater Elemental Spell Power. But this one says Existential Stalemate, Concordant Opposition. Actually, it says effects removed, Existential Stalemate, but its effects added is the Concordant Opposition. That's the one we want. You noticed it down here. It does not say Concordant Opposition. So read carefully. Don't just click something thinking they're all the same, because you'll be very sad if you clicked this one, for example. You can see up here it says Existential Stalemate, Concordant Opposition as well. Okay, that was ridiculous. I'm so unprepared here. But now, I've charged up another energy cell. So we'll take our Super Duper Shard, and our Cloak, and our energy cell. We want the Existential Stalemate, Concordant Opposition, hit Forge, and boom. There's our Supreme Tyrant, Green Steel Weave Cloak of Concordant Opposition, with all of our wonderful goodies. It's level 11. When you TR, you put that on level 11, and you're just going to love it. And you'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe I lived my whole life without green steel up until now. So go make some green steel and love it. It's awesome TR gear. Some of it can even be good at endgame. I just remembered one more thing that I needed to add, and that is, when you make an item, you can see that it has a taint of Shavrath. If you look at the bottom here, it says, green steel items thirst for pain and suffering, blah, 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 blah. Weapons can satiate themselves on the bloodlust of opponents or whatever. So, weapons, you don't have to worry about the taint of Shavrath, but non-weapon items, you do. And what happens if you wear two items that have that taint, you can see, like I have this Supreme Tyrant Green Steel Helm of Mineral with all kinds of goodies on there. That has the taint of Shavrath, and if I stick the Cloak on there as well, I start taking damage. I just took 11 damage as soon as I put it on. 28. And it's just going to keep taking damage every couple of seconds. So bottom line is you can't wear two uncleansed green steel items unless you want to take a lot of damage. That would be ridiculous. But when you run Shroud 20 times, and every 20th completion, you get what's called an Essence of Cleansing. This little thingy-dingy right here. And you could put your item in there along with your Essence of Cleansing and your high energy cell. You click Forge, and now, voila, the taint of Shavrath is removed. Now you can put it on, and you won't take any damage. Pretty awesome. Knock out your 20 shrouds, get your Essence of Cleansing, and be a boss and wear two green steel items. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about green steel crafting or any of my videos, you can respond on YouTube. And if you happen to be on Saralona, you are welcome to send me a tell.